Welcome back to Nightmine, friends. Thanks for joining me in the office again this evening, and on a pretty special occasion. A lot of you sitting down for this video might not be aware that this is technically a very long awaited part 2. I'm not making anybody go back to part 1 though. We'll summarize, because tonight we're catching up with the revival of some old Nightmine territory, NOC+10, otherwise known as Research Station Nocturne. No relation to me, I swear. Some of you will remember what NOC+10 is about and where it takes place, so you'll already understand that before we begin, it's better to get some security. Thankfully, our old friends at Surfshark are here sponsoring this video, so we're protected against all the old and new threats that we'll be encountering. And come on, deep sea diving horror series, artificial intelligence, and secret networks. It would be messed up if we didn't invite Surfshark along for this one. Surfshark is a VPN dedicated to keeping you safe whenever and however you connect to the internet. Their clean web technology allows you to browse without fear of intrusive ads, malware, trackers, and information fishers, and you can use it on unlimited devices, all at the same time. Surfshark's toolkit lets you hide your IP to stay off the radar of malicious opportunists and provides industry-leading data encryption to keep your personal info secure. You can even put on camouflage mode, which keeps your internet provider from knowing you're using a VPN. And multi-hop allows you to connect to several countries, keeping your activity location disguised. Right now, you can protect yourself online with Surfshark for just 83% off a 2-year plan and 3 extra months for free at surfshark.deal/nightmind. This limited time special offer makes your subscription just $2.21 per month so you can browse securely on all your devices. Again, just go to surfshark.deal/nightmind and use the code NIGHTMIND to get 83% off a 2-year plan and 3 extra months for free. Or just click the link in the description box below. Thanks to Surfshark for watching our backs out on the waves. Now, with a bit of security on our side, let's return to the darkest secret in the deepest sea. When we last covered NOC+10, it was on March 10, 2017. It's been 4 years, and while most of that time was quiet, the last 7 months have seen moments of activity that expand our understanding of the situation more than ever. When we first visited this topic, it was even further back, July 4th, 2016. In that original July 4th video, we explored the scenario presented through the cryptic messages on the NOC+10 channel and established the following. NOC+10 is a research station, codenamed Research Station Nocturne, located in the Marianas Trench, the lowest point in the surface of the Earth, 7 miles deep in the ocean, where most submersible vehicles would be crushed by the pressure. The station was reaching out to an operator named Helen, informing them of the following. 2 out of 3 systems on the station were deceased, they were being assimilated, and the station required assistance. Mainly, it needed Helen's help because it wanted to die. Information recovered from someone's temporal lobe revealed Helen was Dr. Helen, who helped develop the NOC+10 project, which pursued major breakthroughs in the field of neuroscience. The nature of their work lied in the evolution of human communication. A mix of memory data, audio files, and video files uploaded by the station point to one conclusion. Dr. Helen and the research team succeeded in creating a computer system with a neural interface, and quite possibly gave birth to artificial intelligence or something similar, thanks to the use of actual human brains in their work. AI or not, something inside the research station has assimilated the minds of dead personnel following a Mayday incident, and it's been crying out to Dr. Helen ever since. Final bits of information point at the project being funded by the government, with hopes of global deployment if the technology was successful. That's the situation we left off on when we first explored the story in July of 2016. Our next update came in September of that year, providing an audio track of a critical situation directive, encouraging crew members to make the ultimate sacrifice for the good of their nation. Now we spring forward to August of last year, when NOC+10 reappeared for its new run of activity. The old logo and chime intro plays, which is a welcome sight. Strange audio follows, and we're shown a few interesting sights, like a logo, an hourglass, a waveform developing on the side of the screen, a mess of text, and a message informing us a cluster reboot is underway. This results in an error, and then... Well, that was unexpected, wasn't it? The logo belongs to the research station itself. It has its own chime, and its system is apparently operational again. At least partly. We'll have to see what that error was about. Now, there's almost always secret information contained in uploads from NOC+10, and this case was no different. As we proceed, we'll be referring to the hard work done by the diligent members of the RSN Discord, who have been cracking the codes and interpreting messages from the research station since the August revival. Before we begin, major thanks and major props to all of you for your efforts. Apparently, the audio that plays throughout the August 20th upload was a spectrogram, which contained plenty of messages and images. The text was reported as follows, informing us that the calculation block was experiencing a heating error. There was info about the half-life term of strontium-90, and there was insufficient electrical current production to the station's thermoelectric generators. A bioclock warning was issued about the natural degradation of the organic matter, and recovery of important history revealed general procedure of a program in the area the bioclock operates, Sweet Night, which forced isolation of the 10 unit. According to the Sweet Night program, the absence of data from a redacted individual caused something to develop self-consciousness. As a result, a firewall was activated in the IT facility, Block 3, Station 3. Glycol propylene pumps were obstructed, mnemonic infiltrations were derived from Point 3, and there were multiple unknown anomalies. Alright, that's a lot of info, but we can decipher it. Several things have been going wrong at the station, which resulted in unknown anomalies and the activation of the program Sweet Night and a firewall. Something gained self-consciousness. That much was obvious from the first few facts we learned about the research station a while back. And the organic matter the project runs on or keeps stock of is degrading, which in layman's terms means that we've got corpses or brains that the station runs on rotting. The curiosities are strontium-90, mnemonic infiltrations, and glycol propylene. Strontium-90 is a radioactive isotope with a half-life of 28.8 years. It's used as a power source, which means the research station is running on nuclear energy. Glycol propylene, or propylene glycol if you look it up, is apparently a food additive and sometimes an antifreeze replacement that's safe for ingesting, used to absorb excess water and regulate moisture. It's often used in products to prevent melting or freezing, so we can sense what its application might be on board the station if there's an issue of organic material degrading. Mnemonic is a word pertaining to memory. As an adjective, it means aiding or designed to aid the memory. And as a noun, it would be a device or pattern meant to help with recall. The message from NOC+10 concerned mnemonic infiltrations from Point 3. Would this be a reference to the memory dives that we've seen in prior videos, or a warning about unusual access to memory? We may have to wait for an answer. In regards to that redacted text concerning absence of data, the name Helen fits, suggesting the disappearance of Dr. Helen somehow created the issue of the station coming to life. The title of the video breaks down to Operating System Command U Record Separator 2 for boot. Seems like a lesser code in terms of importance since we can tell this is a boot-up sequence occurring. Images from the spectrogram look like this, and I agree with the poster. They're almost certainly memories from a connected brain. Here's the other image uncovered. NOC+10's declaration of Project Sleepyhead. As cute as that name might seem, a lot of top-secret operations over time have used innocent titles to throw off any idea about their meaning. A few investigators dug into the mess of code that showed up on the side of the screen, which boils down to a log of actions by the Sweet Night program to shut down a rogue element of the station and failing. Probably the self-conscious element that prompted a firewall to activate. With no way for Sweet Night to contain it, whatever came to life was able to contact the surface, bringing us into the situation. The next update arrived back in November, kicking off with an image of the OS screen for the station. Right, so, that was a lovely mess, wasn't it? It's safe to say even before we see the interpretations that the systems are still fighting. Within this video was the end of a URL for another video, which showed similar images with different codes. The idea was to put the videos together, using all the information to come up with a 512-bit key, and using a cube image displayed as a hint towards the method that went into the cipher, Base 64. Members of the Discord took some time throwing punches at the problem with the information they had, and got the result needed for another unlisted video, which is one of the most rewarding hidden uploads NOC+10 has ever issued.
Let's turn on the light about your job here on this RSN facility, shall we? During this orientation video, you will learn the basics of your work as an MPF operator. Chapter 1. What's Helen? Helen stands for Hyperlinked Electronical Linear Entities Network. But what exactly does that mean? Well, Helen's the super mainframe that analyzes and computes the data of several computers of the NOC series. These tireless next-generation computers work as a team to provide a continuous data flow to Helen. NOC computers think all the time and they are tireless workers, but their data doesn't always seem to make sense. Helen's task is therefore to find the patterns hidden inside the immense amount of data sent by the NOC computers and translate it into a language understandable for the human operator.
Wow. So not only did we get a vintage educational cartoon, we were told what Helen really is. It's not just one of the doctors, it's the core of the entire system, and NOC+10 is one of the computers attached. Helen is an interpreter, deciphering the codes and messages that come from its attachment so humans can understand what's being said. This is why so much has been encoded in the series. NOC+10 has been functioning normally in this regard, but Helen has been out of commission, leaving us to pick up the slack and decipher the messages. I want to interject for a moment here, because this is a rare occasion. Initially, NOC+10 having a secret code element since its beginning did make narrative sense, because it was a secretive system hidden deep in the ocean attempting to communicate with a member of the project. The logic for secret codes being part of the story and making the audience go through puzzles for rewards was good, and that was something I deeply appreciated. Confession time. I love ARGs, but the most consistent aspect of them that I hate are unnecessary codes and puzzles that cannot be defended by the logic of the story or behavior of the characters. Secret codes are, secrets. They're meant to hide sensitive information and be broken only by intended recipients, who know what method was used and have a cipher key that cannot be easily obtained or guessed. Often, we see projects that roll out coded messages written by characters who know they're broadcasting to a public audience, and the method they use for their code is easily found with just a few minutes of searching. Even when the character in question encoding something sends it to another character as a private message, the receiving character, who might show it off to their loyal followers as part of an investigation effort, will often find that, again, it's easily broken using Google. And when you look at the logic of the situation, encoding the message didn't make any sense to begin with. Codes and puzzles are fun, and they're more than acceptable to use in a project, but they are very often misused, and too little do we see genuine thinking go into the narrative logic of using them. But here with NOC+10, we have the ultimate eureka moment for the question of why there are codes and puzzles in this tale. The logic is completely sound and narratively satisfying. It feels like a reward in itself to discover. Helen has been dead, so we've been fulfilling its role while also playing the human recipient on the other side of the printer. Absolutely magnificent narrative logic for incorporating codes and puzzles into a project. This right here is gold standard stuff when it comes to laying out the case for using codes in your story. Please, if you ever want to make a nonfiction project and are considering codes or puzzles, think about how solid the case for it is in NOC+10 as a guiding light. And in fact, how easy it was to accept and roll with the idea even before we found this video, thanks to the information and setup provided for the story. Ultimately, just put the same sort of thought into codes and puzzles that you would for character behaviors. If it's there, it should be for a reason, and we as the audience need to believe that reason. Now, do you absolutely need to follow my entire tangent here as if it were the law? No, of course not. Your project is your own. But when it comes to writing, believability, and the satisfaction of the audience, especially when reasons behind codes are uncovered, planning the logic out this firmly scores you so many points, and it ultimately increases enjoyment factor for the whole project. It simply makes for a more solid experience. Tangent complete, let's get back to the story. On November 24th, NOC+10 uploaded its longest video yet, 21 minutes, 57 seconds. This image was shown within at 11:22, presenting two portraits under the headline, "In Loving Memory." The text reads, Dr. A.L. and Dr. E.B. Due to a tragic accident that occurred in the +10 facility on August the 12th of this year, two of our colleagues tragically perished. May their souls rest in peace. It's possible that this is the first instance of the system assimilating dead team members. No information yet on what the cause of death was. On December 28th, we received another video, this time with a very unique code approach. Members of the RSN Discord went to work, found it to be a substitution cipher, and had to reverse the results. The message is a bit jumbled, but Nocturne wrote, "Is it my fault? I self-ended me. Great freedom will be hated if I will write. Fear my night, brained by ruin ending time. Verbose codes progress daring." It sounds like Noc10 is having some negative thoughts, but wants to communicate in longer statements. Another unlisted video was uncovered with his upload, and if you were hoping to see another cartoon, you're in luck.
Chapter 2. Your Job. Your work in the RSN Institute is called MPF, which stands for Maintain, Protect, and Forget. Maintain. Helen's complex mechanism is made up of many electronic and mechanical components which require continuous supervision for the Protect. The life maintenance units are powered by nuclear cells that produce strontium-90, a highly radioactive material that is stored in special cement and lead containers. You must always make sure that you and the staff around are protected from radiation at all times. Forget. Also recommend not looking at mirrors or reflective objects for the entire time of the exposure. Feeling that someone is watching you and extreme paranoia. Always protect your workplace and always remember your name and registration number. We are happy to welcome you to the big happy family of the research station Nocturne, and remember, we work for you, through you.
Another payload of information, courtesy of some animators who must have been paid to forget as well. Protection of the radioactive energy source wasn't expected as part of the job, and as for the forgetting portion, we can only assume what this means, aside from the obvious factor of not telling anyone what goes on here, or sharing information outside your division. Not looking at mirrors or reflective objects for the duration of exposure. Would this be safety protocol for individuals who have been exposed to strontium-90? Or is there something else on the station that could have an effect on people that requires avoiding mirrors? There is this moment, citing feelings of someone watching you and extreme paranoia, along with a shot of a happy pill. The source for the tribute to a couple of fallen colleagues appears next. Is it suggesting they were victims of the symptoms a happy pill is supposed to subdue? Discord members who study this image have guessed that the year of death is 1957 based on the bits of characters that can be seen. If it really is 1957, then RSN has been operating for a disturbingly long time. But those vintage instructional videos make sense now. The latest video by Noc10 really delivers when it comes to new information, and it takes us in a storytelling direction we would never have anticipated. Magnum Unitas, September 7th, 1997. This special introductory video was made for a team tasked with reactivating the submarine base at RSN, and the personnel needed individuals who had firearms knowledge, including the assault class and experience with explosives. Safety notes demanded use of the mask and anti-spore suit worn at all times, and to be on the lookout for symptoms of psychotic ergotism, and the containment procedures for out-of-control personnel. Along the same line of intrigue for anti-spore suits, we have notes about hostile phenomena and handling antifungal gas. We've just entered a new chapter in the NOC+10 story, which concerns this group sending a team on an armed mission to the research station, prepped not only to deal with its equipment, but to protect themselves from being infected by fungal spores, psychotic personnel, and anomalies. This story of a deep-sea research station tragedy just turned into a Resident Evil situation. You really cannot ask for a better declaration of an all-new act in a story, especially one with such promise. Sending a team down there and telling us just how much more dangerous it is than we realized? Sign me up, I'm all in for this. And for a moment, can we just pause to appreciate the dedication that went into the new set of visuals? The animations, the new intro video from 1997, the reboot sequences. This is all great stuff and very unexpected. I love it, I'm impressed, and I feel excited for NOC+10 all over again. When I watched the latest video, it gave me the same thrill of discovery I had when I first went through the project years ago and wrote my script. If this is what we've experienced so far from this creator, imagine what we're getting next. And one last thing. For those of you who are worried about the time that projects take, or have experienced life interruptions in your own, let NOC+10 remind you of the reality when it comes to unfiction. Yes, it's an incredible and well-pursued goal to launch your project, run it on a balanced schedule, and complete it without any hiatuses. If you can pull it off, you should, as long as life does not go by the wayside. It's one of the golden apples of our field. But sometimes you can go silent for a few years, come back, and make quite a splash. This is honestly one of the best returns I've seen for a series. The wait was rewarded with a great showing, smart writing, new material, and some presentation tricks we not only haven't seen, but certainly didn't anticipate. Well done, NOC+10, and welcome back. That's all for now, everyone. We're caught up for the time being, and as more updates for this project roll out, we'll keep an eye on it and return for some catch-up. I'd like to thank Surfshark for having our backs as we dove into the Marianas Trench again, the members of the RSN Discord for their investigative work, and I'd like to give major thanks to all of you for watching and give special thanks to my supporters on Patreon, who enable me to cover excellent stories like this. You can join all of these creatures of the night for just $2 a month, which not only supports the channel, but the Nightmind Index for new and undiscovered unfiction projects. Take a look tonight, and you just might find a new favorite. There are some wonderful experiences already listed, and I'll give you this. My next video is going to be on one of them. Thanks for joining me in the dark again this evening. Once more, I'm Nick Nocturne, and like our favorite deep-sea research station, I'll be back again real soon. Sleep tight.